So once again, a very good afternoon to all European participants and good morning to our Canadian partners and colleagues that we are working together. Later on, we will also welcome the Canadian participants to the webinar, to the technical webinar that we are doing today jointly with regards to the forthcoming EU-Canada matchmaking event. Before presenting the agenda for this webinar today, I will quickly go through the housekeeping rules. This webinar is scheduled to last 1 hour and 30 minutes. It will be recorded and later will be published on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. All participants are in listening mode, so please, while we are presenting, if you have questions or later on during the Q&A session, please use the chat box so we can monitor and take notes of your questions that we will try to respond during the webinar, but also we will be able to communicate after the session today. So without further delay, we will go through the agenda for the webinar of what we are planning to present to you today. We will have a short opening and welcoming remarks. After that, we will hear the market access information. There would be also a presentation of the input paper, and also we will hear from Invest in Canada some very important and practical aspects. We will see the overall, I'll present the overall agenda of the EU-Canada Matchmaking Mission by days. And our colleagues from the All In, Isabel, will present the details from All In Expo, practical aspects, overview. I mean, you already heard some information on that, but the event is really developing it's already 2 weeks before the event. So we will hear the practical aspects as well as how to use the special event app. We will hear also the presentation of the B2Match platform and how to create your profiles and to in order to succeed to achieve successful meetings. For many of you, you know that we've been always using B2Match for our matchmaking events, and this is the main tool that will facilitate the matchmaking events between the European clusters and SMEs and the Canadian counterparts. And after that, we will have Q&A session. We will guide you what are the next steps. We are more or less 2 weeks before the event. So we will try to outline what's important during the next 2 weeks. So without delay, we will start with the welcoming remarks, and I would like to welcome on the floor Christophe Guichard, Policy Officer at the Unit of Industrial Forum, Alliance at Clusters, DigiCo for Internal Market, Industry, Entrepreneurship and SMEs at the European Commission. Christophe, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Theodora. Good afternoon to everyone, and good morning to our Canadian friends. I'm Christophe Guichard, working in the cluster unit of DG Grow at the European Commission, and very pleased to address this event with very short opening remarks. Our webinar this afternoon will give you some background information, as Theodora said, to help you to prepare for upcoming EU-Canada matchmaking event that will take place in Montreal. And this matchmaking event is actually the second event we organized in Canada after a first edition in Toronto in 2019. So we are very pleased to reconnect with our Canadian partners, and I welcome all of you from across Europe and Canada to participate to this new edition early September with a specific focus on digital technologies and artificial intelligence. So our delegation from Europe is actually well balanced. It includes so far 27 delegates with representatives from 21 clusters and 3 companies, all from 16 European countries. So this session this afternoon will give you some guidance to our European delegates on how to do business and collaborate with Canada. You will receive also practical information on your participation in the All In event. That is a huge event that will host us to take full advantage of all collaboration opportunities during this mission. And it will also give you some concrete details on how to do the booking of meetings under the dedicated Matchmaking B2Match platform that is an important part of this event, as well as also to book meetings under the All-in Networking app during the trade fair participation. I would like to thank all our counterparts, including the Innovation, Science and Economic Development Department of Canada, the Scale AI Global Innovation Cluster from Montreal, the Enterprise Europe Network, and the European Cluster Collaboration Platform for working all together to make this event a success. The main objective for this event is to help European and Canadian clusters and companies to create new trade and investment links and business partnerships with a specific focus on AI and digital technologies. I want to stress that the European Commission is keen to be a facilitator of this process. We need to make sure actually that our companies can benefit successfully from the opportunities our free trade agreement with Canada has created. And this matchmaking event intends to deliver on this objective. It will also contribute to pursue the implementation of the administrative arrangement on cluster cooperation that was signed in Toronto in 2019. So now, to come back to our event this afternoon, I trust this technical webinar will be the beginning of successful business contacts and cooperation. We have actually prepared a very dense program with various side visits, networking opportunities at the trade show, and an informal business dinner. So I strongly encourage you to take all these opportunities to network and matchmake with our Canadian partners during this mission. Thank you very much, and I wish you successful meetings in Montreal.
Thank you very much, Christophe, for this overview and giving an overview for the delegates. I'm joining you in concluding that we have a very, very strong delegation, and I would encourage the participants today, next to your name as participants, please also add the organization you are representing, because this is the first time that all of you are together on the virtual floor room, so you can see each other and also already have an idea who is from the European side. As I said, later on after some presentations, the Canadian participants will be joining us, so it is really a good chance to start already the matchmaking event. So thank you once again, Christophe, and I'm really pleased to welcome on the floor Stefan Vertuk, the Senior Director, Strategic Planning, Policy and Partnership at the Global Innovation Clusters, I sit at the Government of Canada. So Stefan, the floor is yours.
Hello, bonjour. It's Stephen Furtak here. I'll pause for a moment, just Theodora, to confirm that people can hear me. Is that working?
Yes, it's all good, Stephen. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, again, a big warm thank you thank you to the organizers for this, and a warm welcome from me. I'm Stephen Furtak, as mentioned. I'm the Senior Director in Canada with the Global Innovation Clusters program within the Department of Innovation, Science and Economic Development. I'll be joining the Canadian participants in Montreal at our matchmaking event on September the 10th, and looking forward to meeting many of you. As you may know, the Global Innovation Clusters program in Canada, it is one of our flagship programs and was launched as a long-term investment by Canada to strengthen some of our key Canadian innovation ecosystems. And it was designed to make some investments in key areas of Canadian advantage. And so when we talk about the Innovation Clusters program, it covers 5 areas and subsectors: digital technology, plant-based protein industries, advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence related to supply chain logistics, and the ocean economy. And so we'll have our members from the clusters program, many of them participating in Montreal and attending the event, and we'll be looking to integrate them into our matchmaking event on the 10th. As you may know, through the Global Innovation Clusters program, Canada has invested nearly 2 billion Canadian dollars over a period of 10 years to build up these innovation ecosystems and to help scale up Canadian small and medium-sized enterprises and to accelerate economic growth. And as part of that, we're also, there's been an emphasis as part of the global innovation clusters to ensure that our economic actors are not just focused on the local market or the Canadian market, but are seizing global opportunities. And we see this matchmaking event as an excellent opportunity to demonstrate how there's a strong opportunity to be able to make linkages beyond our borders. And we hope that it's also a fruitful opportunity for our European participants to also make some connections with Canada. There are a number of examples of our Canadian clusters having developed strong global initiatives, and we'll hear certainly about one of them, at Scale AI, how they're involved in organizing the All-In conference in Montreal, which is a premier event related to the vital artificial intelligence ecosystem. And so we're pleased that many of you will be able to participate in some of the events there, see some of the strength of the Canadian ecosystem, as well as interact with other participants who've been attracted to be part of this. And in closing, I'd like to say that we are very keen to have this be a successful event. And so if there's any feedback along the way, or if there are particular questions, don't hesitate to reach them. But with that, I'll conclude my opening remarks and turn it back to our Master of Ceremonies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and I would like to thank to all the colleagues and from your department that we've been working so hard during the last couple of months. It is a great partnership so far, and we are all very confident that this will open doors for many successful meetings and new cooperations. So really thank you very much for the very hard work and dedication. We will continue after the opening remarks and the welcoming words with the market access information session. And before giving the floor to Jan-Philipp Kramer, I would like to inform the participants today that all the information that you see today and the presentations, together with the recording, as it was said earlier, will be uploaded on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform on the special event page, as well as all the links will be shared with you, so you can download the presentations, will be shared with you, so you can have full information. You can keep this in your files. So Jan, the floor is yours for the presentation of the input paper.
Thank you very much, Theodora, and welcome also from my side. A big pleasure again to be here and to provide some inputs from our side. I would say the European perspective on the potentials in Canada, but as we have been speaking regularly with our Canadian counterparts in the past months, I think we are looking at a very similar picture. I will speak briefly about the economic profile. I will give you a few insights on key value chain opportunities that we see. Of course, I will mention briefly also the Canadian program that has already been mentioned by Stephen, and some details around that. And I'll finish with some, let's say, basic information about the framework for the EU-Canada cluster cooperation. All of this is based on a paper, on an input paper, which is already available for you, and you can maybe read through it when preparing your visit to Canada in the coming days. So very briefly, I think this doesn't need a lot of explanation, but we wanted to start off with providing you just a basic understanding of how the Canadian economy is set up. And one could, of course, go much more detail here. But I think it's important to understand that obviously the partnership between Europe and Canada has been quite important to both sides, and it was already mentioned that the CETA agreement is one of these pillars. And why so? Because our economies are very important on the world's scale. In fact, Canada is the 9th largest economy in the world, which provides you a good understanding that it's not just because we have very many things in common, is also a very attractive market overall. Not surprisingly, also Canada has a strong service sector, And normally we just say, okay, this is not something we talk so much about when dealing with the economic exchange. But I will tell you later that in this case, it's very important also to have in mind tradable services, which are very prominent in the Canadian setup. The first point here, real estate, just to give one comment. Normally I skip this because it's a more domestic topic, but I wanted to emphasize that this is a maybe indirect indication that also Canada is a growing economy with a growing number of people, and therefore real estate is becoming quite important. But aside of that, you see that economically speaking, we have, of course, the raw materials as one very important and also changing field of importance in the Canadian economy, but then a number of either tech or manufacturing related industry, such as telecommunications, machinery, equipment and supplies, food manufacturing, and also transportation equipment manufacturing. And this, I think, gives you a good understanding that the Canadian economy shares some similar features that, of course, open up the potential for joint developments. And as said before, with the trade that has been intensified, for latest figures, we can say that the imported goods, the EU imported goods from Canada worth almost 25 billion, and exported goods worth almost 40 billion, just to give you an idea about the intensity of trade relations already ongoing. When looking at the value chains, and this is shown in the next figure, it's just exemplary for the most important industrial ecosystems, as we would look at that from the European classification in industrial policy. You see that in 6, I would say, not very diverse in itself, that they don't have any interconnection, but distinct fields, we see a lot of potential for further strengthening also of the cooperation. I will come to digital, obviously, because that's one of the key features also of the matchmaking to come, but there are also others. Aerospace and defense. I think most of you know that on the one hand, this area is very important. Aerospace overall receives a lot of attention around the globe, and that Canada has been traditionally a very strong location in the field of aeroplanes. And there are both European operations, but of course also distinct Canadian companies in this field, which include not only the manufacturing, but of course also a lot of digital technologies nowadays. With the developments and the war against Ukraine, this of course receives additional attention also, and the field of defense, of course, is something that we are looking at with a different eye since this happened. Second, agri-food. Already now there's a lot of trade happening on processed and maybe less processed materials. And we know that food security on the one hand and food innovation on the other hand are key features also in the light of our green transition objectives. And therefore, we believe that this is a field to watch. And it's also in the Canadian economy a very central one. Is top 8 in the ranking. Now, looking at digital, obviously the discussion around AI shifts even more attention to this field. But even without that, there's a long tradition also in the Canadian economy with ICT, telecommunications, and also ITC services. And starting from the agreement at CETA, there was a strong focus also on the digital transition. And I mentioned earlier, let's not look only at trade of goods, but also at the volume of traded services. And you will see that here already the trade volume of services between the EU and Canada was almost 29 billion euros in 2022. So there's a lot of economic activity going on, and it's very relevant. Renewable energy. We know that the energy transition requires a lot of shifts in our economy, and you know that many negotiations were held in the past months and years, and in particular the clean hydrogen received a lot of attention, and there is a lot of trade to be expected in this field. Health, again, also an area where, of course, digital integration is becoming more and more important. Almost 4 billion in trade are already, or exports to Canada from the EU side, and very relevant. And last but not least, mobility, transport, and automotive. We see that on the one hand, the manufacture of transport equipment is very relevant to the Canadian economy, but obviously also the European economy is very much rooted in that. So we see collaboration opportunities. And I repeat myself also here, obviously, all things around automated driving, about e-vehicles and so on becomes more important. And with that, looking at the Canadian cluster program, I would say it really matches these economic specializations, but also the innovation potential and a number of key priorities that we have on the European scale. So it was already mentioned that it's a very significant program. In fact, it was established in 2017, so 2 years before the last matchmaking took place, but it was further developed and recapitalized in 2022, underscoring the ambition of this program. And it's operating in these 5 large clusters, which have really significant funding. I don't have to repeat the areas. Stephen already gave you an outline, but we believe that this is a very interesting and promising initiative. And one of the elements which I think is very important is that the operation of these clusters is in a way similar to the cascade funding model that we also know in some programs in the EU, but on a larger scale. And that also means that generating private co-investment is very essential, which could open also avenues for future cooperation with EU partners. You can see on the description also the different total investment and volumes in the different clusters. I don't want to read them out, but they range from 280 million Canadian dollars to over 420, almost 430 million Canadian dollars, which gives you a good idea that there's a lot of things happening. When it comes to their geography, they're nationwide, as has already been said, but they do have some specific headquarters, and they are in a way also rooted in some territories, connecting the different innovation ecosystems across Canada. And on the next slide, just as an indication for you to what is the potential of partners, there's a good leverage you can achieve for partnerships. All in all, around 3,000 actors from SMEs, large firms, research organizations, and other partners that are relevant for the activities of clusters, ranging from 500 in the ocean cluster to almost 900 in the digital. And without going into each of these cluster segments, you can see that sometimes there's a larger proportion of small or large firms or research organizations. But the most important message is you have access to a big number of cluster actors when collaborating with the Canadian innovation clusters. The agreements have already been mentioned. So I think the foundation agreement that Christophe mentioned at the beginning, signed in 2019 between Canada and the EU on cluster collaboration, sets the scene. It's really a dedication to a common objectives, and therefore it's important. I already talked about the global innovation clusters. There's also an international cooperation dimension within them. Even though you can't receive funding, you can integrate partners in these projects, and therefore I think it's also an opportunity to bear in mind when you go into the meeting. Last but not least, recent news that Canada now also joins Horizon Europe in the Pillar 2, funding collaborative research projects on global challenges. I think that's also an opportunity for you to keep in mind. There are already Canadian participations in Horizon, and there's a budget of over 50 million to go ahead. So wrapping up and staying in time, You see that there are a lot of linkages already established in the economy. We have identified a few fields where we see explicit potential in value chains. Obviously, digital plays a key role as a horizontal aspect, AI in particular. We have I think, a setup of programs that allow you to develop collaborations, and potentially in the future there are more to come. And the dedication, I also underlined that the support is there from both the Commission and our Canadian friends. Therefore, I think it's a really good setup for you to travel over there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Jan, for this summary of the of the input paper. As said previously, the input paper, you can see also on the screen the code. You can, but also we will be. It's already online. That this input paper has been published in December last year. Also, we will share with you this presentation as a summary, but please also know that this time, together with, for those that have been participated in the past in the matchmaking events, together with the participants booklet, which is giving you more practical information on for the forthcoming event, we will also prepare an info pack which will gather an extract from the input paper that is dedicated to the sectors that we have been targeting for this mission, as well as information that you will hear from Invest in Canada. So it is this will be all shared with you. I see a question is coming in the chat: how can the European companies collaborate with Canadian innovation clusters? I will give a chance. Obviously, the programs have been presented, but I'll give a chance later, either to Stephen or the partners from clusters that will be presented from the two. Thank you once again, Jan, and we will continue with the next presentation. We'll hear from Philip Ferland, Market Associate Europe at Invest in Canada.
Thank you, Theodora. So yeah, as she had mentioned, my name is Philip Ferland. I'm a Market Associate on the European team here at Invest in Canada. And I'll be giving you a very quick presentation on the digital technology and manufacturing sectors in the country. So going over the presentation, we'll look at who we are as an organization. So that's Invest in Canada. Give you a general sense on why Canada is the location for you. And then I'll talk about different subsectors in the digital industry sector, such as artificial intelligence and quantum computing. I'll do a bit on advanced manufacturing, and then I'll talk to you quickly about federal programs and incentives that would be available for your company should you expand into the country. Next slide, please. So who we are. Invest in Canada is the federal government's investment promotion agency. We were formed in March of 2018 in an effort to bring industry, community, and government partners together to offer a seamless service that makes it easier to accelerate your expansion into Canada. Our headquarters is in Ottawa, Ontario, but we have a regional presence throughout the country, and we work very closely with Canada's embassies all around the world. And so to get in contact with us, you can contact us directly, or you can visit a local embassy and they'll put you in touch with us as well. Next slide. How we help companies. So we have three sort of broad areas of service. We offer investment analysis in the form of market research, and we can plan and help coordinate and execute any kind of visits to the country that you'd like to conduct in order to do your own assessment of what sites you'd like to expand to. We offer advisory services to help you navigate the regulatory environment in the country and identify different programs and incentives that can support your operations in the country. And we also offer introductions to a variety of different stakeholders, including other federal departments, provincial and municipal governments, but also academia and the private sector as well. And so any type of industry association or any type of actor within the Canadian economy, we can essentially introduce you to them on your behalf. So why Canada? Canada has a variety of different advantages that make expanding to the country quite beneficial to you, multiple different ways. And the first one would be global market access. And so Canada has about 15 trade agreements that cover about 1.5 billion different consumers, or 61% of the world's GDP. In addition to that, if you're manufacturing in the country, a very significant trade infrastructure with 17 port authorities, 23 international airports, about 117 border crossings with the US, and a national highway and railway network. Other key features that are most relevant for the purpose of this presentation would also be our STEM talent. So we produce about 137,000 STEM graduates almost every year. That's the number for 2020, but it stays fairly consistent. And what's an added benefit is that that talent tends to be 10 to 30% more cost competitive than the same talent that you'll find in the United States. In addition to that, for any talent that you can't find in the country, we have very progressive and open immigration policies that allow you to attract the different skilled workers that you might need who aren't currently there. We have a yearly target to attract about 500,000 highly skilled immigrants every year, and that target remains consistent year over year. And then lastly, we also have a commitment to clean energy. And so many of our provincial electricity grids operate on, I think, 99% renewable energy. And most of the rest of the country is on track to kind of reach that same benchmark all across the country. Next slide. So going deeper onto the tech talent slide, so Canada is the most well-educated country in the OECD, with about 62% of Canadian adults having some form of post-secondary degree. There are also about 150,000 tech jobs that have been added across the country since 2020, and so that's a growth rate of about 16%, which is higher than what's being seen in the United States today. In terms of which markets have the highest growth rate, there's large markets such as Toronto and Montreal, which were the second or third highest growth tech markets in North America between 2017 and 2022. However, if you're looking for more kind of up-and-coming tech markets in the country, then I would highly encourage you to take a look at Halifax, London, Ontario, and Winnipeg, as well as new emerging spaces where the cost isn't as high. Next slide. So this slide here just gives you a series of different major investments that have been made by a variety of different tech companies all around the world in Canada. I'd encourage you to take a closer look after this session, but it goes to show that the country has been very successful in terms of attracting a lot of different projects in a variety of different areas related to digital technology. Next slide. Going into artificial intelligence, and so this is a space that Canada has been quite an innovator in. We were one of the first countries to even have a government strategy around artificial intelligence, which came out in the late 2010s. What's very notable is that we have 3 very highly reputable artificial intelligence institutions in the country. So that's the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute at the University of Alberta, MILA, which is located in Montreal at the Université de Montréal, and the Vector Institute in Toronto. And all of these are headed by very well-known researchers in artificial intelligence, notably Yoshua Bengio at the University of Montreal, Jeffrey Hinton at the University of Toronto, and Richard Sutton at the University of Alberta. Over here, you'll see a map of where these different research hubs are located and all the different universities that contribute quite significantly to AI research in the country. We've also identified the global innovation clusters that are most closely related, but as Jan Philip and Stephen talked about these, I won't go into more detail. They did an excellent job. So in terms of where AI companies are kind of interacting with other spaces within the Canadian economy, there are a variety of different locations. And so about 20% of AI companies in Canada are focused on the healthcare space, either helping on the manufacturing side or in terms of services provided through our healthcare system. Another significant area is financial services. And so about 17% of AI firms are operating in the space. And this is a big space for us, given that we have a very strong financial services sector with some of the safest banks in the world. And AI companies are also operating within our government services, with a couple of examples listed right there. Next slide. Other areas include advanced manufacturing, where AI companies are helping help make the manufacturing process much more efficient. Within the manufacturing space, our auto manufacturing sector, which is quite significant in the country, also utilizes AI companies, which are putting together new software to help with autonomous vehicles and connecting cars to 5G networks. And then AI companies are also present in our cybersecurity sector, which we won't really touch upon today, but is another major subsector of the digital technology space here in Canada that's quite significant. So overall, our artificial intelligence ecosystem is one of the best in the world. It's ranked first in the G7 for year-over-year growth in terms of AI talent. We have the world's highest growth of women in AI. And since 2019, we've seen the most published papers on a per capita basis within the G7. AI firms in Canada are also filing patents at 3 times the average rate in the G7 and attracting about a third of all venture capital within Canada. To keep the momentum going, the government of Canada has announced Canada's sort of AI advantage announcement within their budget, which sees a significant increase to targeted AI support by up to $2 billion, which includes $2 billion over 5 years to launch a new AI Compute Access Fund and a Canadian AI Sovereign Compute Strategy, and another $200 million over 5 years to boost AI startups, to bring new technologies to market and accelerate AI adoption in critical sectors. I'll touch briefly on quantum computing. So this is another space where Canada has been quite an early actor and has seen quite a lot of success. And so about $1 billion has been invested in this space between 2012 and 2022. And as a result, we're seeing about 23 quantum computing startups, which is second to just the US at 59. In January 2023, the Government of Canada unveiled its national quantum strategy to foster research, talent, and commercialization in the space. And so another sector that the Government of Canada sees a lot of potential in and is putting a lot of effort into growing. And over here, you can see some key research institutes, many of which are similar to those of the AI space, but also some unique ones like the University of Calgary and the Université de Sherbrooke and the different quantum institutes that they have in their spaces. And here are a variety of different quantum computing announcements as well, which I would encourage you to take a closer look at after the session. So lastly, this map here shows you all the different manufacturing that's happening all across the country. We're very lucky as a country in that manufacturing is present all over the place. However, I would point to the sort of what we call the St. Lawrence corridor of Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec. Basically the Southern Ontario and Quebec space is being kind of the manufacturing heartland of the country. And what's very unique about this is that it's also, as we've seen in the previous maps, also where our tech hub is. And this is a unique sort of synergy that exists only here in Canada. In the United States, their tech hubs and their manufacturing hubs tend to be in different locations. But here they're all centralized in the same space, and that allows both to kind of support each other in making both much more competitive for the global market. Next slide. Thanks to these advantages, Canada has seen a thriving subsector focused on additive manufacturing, automation and advanced robotics. Our automotive space has remained very competitive with a lot of new investments in electric vehicles and electric vehicle battery manufacturing as well. And healthcare manufacturing remains fairly competitive as well. So now I'll quickly go over the different federal programs and incentives that could be available to you if you were to expand into the country. And so on the manufacturing side, we have the Clean Technology Investment Tax Credit. This provides 30% of your capex in new machinery and equipment that'll be used to manufacture key clean technologies. Over here, you can see a set of examples of what clean technologies are included within this program. And so if you're manufacturing any of these products or components that are essential to the operation of these products, then you can take advantage of the Clean Technology Manufacturing Tax Credit. The way you apply for it is that it's through your tax filings once the equipment's been fully installed in your facility. And if you'd like to know whether or not any sort of machinery and equipment that you're purchasing might be eligible for this tax credit, the Canada Revenue Agency offers what's called an advanced tax ruling, where they can take a look at your project and let you know whether or not you would be able to access this program. We also have a scientific research and experimental development tax credit. And so this is here to help further induce R&D activities in the country. It has both a federal and a provincial component, and the federal component is a 15% non-refundable tax credit. On the provincial side, which we'll see in the next slide, there is an additional up to 12% that is refundable. But in terms of how to receive it, you do it through your yearly tax filings once your R&D activities have been purchased and conducted. And like with the previous program, you can also request an advanced tax ruling to know what activities you may be thinking of conducting will be eligible for the tax credit. And as you can see on this table, you'll see what the full combined credit rate will be at both federal and provincial level. And so you can go from 15% in Prince Edward Island up to 27.75% in New Brunswick as examples, and anywhere in between depending on where you conduct your R&D activities in the country. MyTax. So this is a institution that helps fund R&D activities in the country as well. And so they have two different programs. MyTax Accelerate, which helps fund internships. These are 4-month internships where your company can receive up to $7,500 per intern to help fund their salaries. And these internships can be kind of repeated or renewed over the course of multiple years if needed. And each internship will receive funding in association with this program. There's also the MyTax Elevate program, where the organization will fund 50% of a research fellowship valued at $60,000 per year, and they'll do this for up to 2 years. And so if you have a research fellowship in collaboration with a post-secondary institution, then you can receive in total of $120,000 over 2 years to help fund that fellowship. And lastly, this is an immigration program. And so we have what's called the Global Skills Strategy, which was introduced to allow employers to attract top talent by speeding up application process timelines. What it offers is priority processing for work permits given to employees that you might need to bring to the country very quickly. Essentially, you can be referred to a dedicated service channel, which will give you an immigration officer that'll explain to you the process for receiving these work permits, but also help you get access to them much quicker if you are referred to this program. And to be referred, you need to be bringing high valued investments into the country. You need to be a high potential or high growth company that's looking to grow within Canada. Or you need to be a very innovative company that has a willingness to scale up and commercialize your products here in the country. And so if you're any one of those three different criterias, then we can, in this case, we Invest in Canada can refer you to this program, and you can get priority processing for your employees. So that very quickly covers the digital technology and manufacturing space in Canada and some different programs and incentives that you can take advantage of. As Theodora had mentioned, all of these materials will be shared with you or already uploaded to the platform. But if you have any questions or you would like to connect and learn more about those sectors or potentially expanding into the country, my contact information is right there. And so feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Philippe. And I mean, you mentioned that the information will be shared, and I also want to ask. Obviously, we will have with us as part of the delegation some SMEs that will be with us, but also clusters. They do represent many SMEs, so those clusters that will be with us in Canada. So I believe if they have some specific questions coming from their organizations, they can address those questions to you not only before, but and after the event.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to any that come in.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the confirmation, and thank you very much for the time and presentation. So we will continue further with presenting the overall agenda for the matchmaking mission. We are going to be in Canada. If we go on the next slide, the mission is set for the 10th to 12th of September. So for the European delegates, a majority of you, you will be arriving on the 9th of September. During the next 2 weeks, while we are preparing the final details about the logistics, obviously this will be all summarized and, as was mentioned, and will be forwarded to you in the participants booklet, where you can see all the meeting points, what time and where you need to be, especially for the 10th of September, where we will meet in the morning to gather for the site visits. If we have a chance, we will also, this would be very informal, we will look during the next couple of days to organize an informal meeting on the 9th of September for the European delegation, just basically to see who is in the group. As said previously, use also the opportunity today to put the organization, your organization next to your name. We also shared with you with one of the previous emails that we will create a specific LinkedIn group for the matchmaking event. The invitations has been sent, so please check your LinkedIn boxes, just you need to accept to join this group. And this group will be for you to exchange information, obviously to be another way for you to communicate. Again, all key information will be coming from the dedicated EU matchmaking email address. But of course, all these opportunities like the LinkedIn group, as well as the chance to meet informally on the 9th, will give another chance for you to see more opportunities, even creating partnerships between the European clusters. So on the 10th of September in the morning, we will start with a group visit to the site visits. Later on, Isabel will present, this will be like a transition between my presentation and her presentation. She will speak about the site visit. She will help to say more. So all the delegates from Europe, they will be at the site visits. They would, you will see them in details. And with the joint transport, with organized transportation, we will go back to the main venue for the 10th of September, where we will have the whole afternoon for the matchmaking. Before starting the matchmaking, we will see the pitching and testimonials, the pitching session, as well as we'll hear testimonials from clusters and organizations that have already a successful partnerships and collaborations. This was previously mentioned, touched a bit, I think Stephen or Philip mentioned about successful partnerships, and we will try to identify in the next couple of days those from you that have already worked with Canadian clusters and organizations. So in a very in a couple of slides, you to present your case studies. Also, we will have a pitching session. We will try to have representatives from each industry group that have been key sectors for this matchmaking event. We will have 27 delegates only from the Europe, so it won't be possible all of you to have a presentation. But we will try to put as much as possible, so also to have a mixture from the different sectors, as well as to have the Canadian counterparts as well on the floor. And after that, there will be the matchmaking session. This is here, and one of the key aspects for today's webinar is to hear about the Bid2Match. Many of you are already very well familiar for using the Bid2Match, but once again, we will highlight that for that day and for key for this mission is having your profile set as much as in the best possible way set in Bid2Match. To monitor the requests for meetings, as well as to check all the information provided from the Canadian clusters to schedule the meetings. So it is really important to build a very strong day. It is a very heavy program for the 10th, but it is important you already to have a full understanding of Canadian organizations that you are planning to meet and to schedule your meetings. My colleague Daniel, after very soon, will be presenting the Bid2Match and give you once again the information what's the best possible way for you to take the maximum from the event. The evening will finish on the 10th. We'll finish with a networking dinner, thanks to our Canadian partners that are organizing. And the next 2 days, we will spend on at the all-in event. So we will expand the program on the 11th and the 12th. Currently in the agenda that have been shared with you, you see that we will be participating from the morning at the all-in event. We will hear the different opportunities today from Isabel, but also in the participants booklet already, you will see in more details. We will navigate the time that you will have at all-in event. Obviously, later you will hear the presentation. The event itself is having its own application, which will support and help you to see who is also not only from the who is exhibiting at the event, but also to see the other participants, the visitors. So if you have a chance to make meetings with them, also to take part in the guided tours that will be specifically organized for our group. If we can go on the next slide. Yeah, so this is okay. So for the, as mentioned, for these are the tours. This is the industry tour that is part of the industry tour that is we will be all together going on in the morning on the 10th of September. Isabel, if you'd like, if you hear me, you can join me here if you'd like to say, basically to present the industry tours.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Very looking forward to host you all in Canada. We're very excited that you're joining us. There's 3,000 of us from Canada that will be there to meet you at this event, but there's also 40 other countries that will have representatives. So it's also a great occasion for you, opportunity for you to meet with other countries that will be present, on top of plenty of Canadians that are expecting you. On that specific slide on September 10 in the morning, we've organized for you a tour. So you're basically going to come and visit Mila, which is one of our largest AI institute here in Canada. They're located in Montreal, and they have several thousand researchers that are there. So they'll be explaining what Mila does and why Mila does it well. So you'll meet with them, and present also with them will be Scale AI, the organization which I am part of. So what we do at Scale AI is that we're part of Stefan's Canadian Supercluster. We're the cluster dedicated to AI. And so far, we've invested in 120 projects for $600 million. So we've had a large experience on projects in AI, what works well, projects that are adoption of AI, but also projects that are related to creating new services and solutions related to AI. So we'll be super happy to talk to you about that. Evadolab will also be present at that tour. Evadolab is AI professional services, a firm that was created 5 years ago when we created the cluster to respond to all the needs of the companies that wanted to do AI. They needed expertise to be able to implement AI within their own organization. So that's how Evadolab was created. And today they are servicing several of our largest farms here in Canada. I think you have another slide on also. Yes. Yeah. Yes, so also coming for that tour, you will meet with NextAI. They are more related to the startups. So we are incubating and financing a large variety of AI startups. They'll talk to you about how they're doing it. And Santec will be in another location. So we'll move to Santec related to Polytechnique Montréal, so University of Montreal. And that's where we're also incubating ideas and also offering services for companies that need research to be done on certain projects that they have. And Santec is related to all technology, not just AI. So basically, maybe to do a link with what was discussed by the previous speakers, what works well in our AI ecosystem here in Canada is that we work very closely, as we call it, the triangle. So the academic, you'll have a view of this with the Research Institute, the industry, so all the adoptions and solutions that are developing with AI, we work them very closely with the academic. We work them for what are the needs in the market, and we also have this third pillar of our triangle that are related to startups and investment into the field. So the three working together, you'll have a demonstration on how it is being done and why we think it's working well for us.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Just before giving you again the floor, because this was the bridge between talking about the overall, about the mission, and obviously presenting the all-in event. I just want to mention once again to participants that have been joining us a bit later that all the information will be uploaded on the European Cluster Collaboration platform, shared with links together with this presentation and supporting documents. I see a question where you can have the list of participants. So first, I mean, you will see all the participants. One of the key objectives of today's webinar is to encourage you without further delay to start making your profiles in B2Match, where you will be able to see details for each participants from in both from Europe and from Canada. Also, you will be invited, I think you've been invited already to be part of the special LinkedIn group. But plus, on top of that, we will share as part of the participants booklet the list of all the delegates. So this will be, so your first priority would be, please join the LinkedIn group, please start making your profiles as from today in B2Match, where you will be able to speak with each of the participants, have more details, see what they're looking for, what cooperations that they are looking for, or what they offer, so we can facilitate the matchmaking day. Saying that, if we can go on the next slide, and here, yes, I present Isabel as a founder of All-In Event as well. And Isabel, the floor is yours to present what we will see and how we will at the event, and how we will navigate participants for more successful time and meetings there.
Yeah, of course, and answer any questions you may have related to All-In. So the next few minutes, I'll try to give you a sense of what it is, what it was last year, because it's only our second edition, but also what the team is preparing for you to host you and maximize your travel. So make sure that it was worth it as much as we can for you to come, and also that your experience will be enjoyable while you're with us. So if we change slide. So the next few ones will give you a few examples of what happened last year. So last year we had a first edition where our Prime Minister was attending, and Sasha that you see there is one of our most famous ladies in AI around the world. She works very closely with all aspects of AI in its impact on the environment. So our DNA, it's really how is AI transforming for each of our industry, and how can we make sure that we use it to the best for society, but also for each of our business. So quickly, last year, it was about 2,300 participants. We are growing to 3,000 this year. We will still have one of the top 100 best AI startups in Canada. Now we're growing to 100 partners versus 78 last year. We're expecting the same amount of journalists, so about 100 journalists from all North America. A few of them are coming from Europe with certain delegation, but most of them are journalists from North America. And we are also, this is all offered virtually too. So we're expecting about this year 10,000 live viewers of our event. So this is just a view on who is this ecosystem from last year partners, and we'll soon have this image for this year. Yeah, so this is really one important point. This is really a business meeting. It's not open to the grand public. It's really meant for business decision and makers, AI expert. It's really for people that wants to understand how AI is impacting their business, and what the others are doing about it in each of the industries. So we'll look into how is AI impacting the financial industry, manufacturing world, through tangible and concrete example of what has been done, what works, what sometimes is more difficult, and what can we do about to help each other. So again, we can move from this. We said this year we're expecting 40 countries instead of 20 from last year. You can keep this if you want to refer to, but major industry that are represented. So this year, as we said, the main theme is building an AI-powered economy. So how are we going to do about it for Canada, but also for other nations of the world? How can we get the best gain in productivities and better processes out of AI? We're expecting 200 speakers on 4 different stages. So the programming was launched last week. So now from this point, you have access to the program of all of our scene at the moment through the All-in website or the All-in application, and we'll get to it in a few slides. So the next one here is the floor plan, just so you get to see, like, there's exposition on one side. There's 2 main scene, forum and agora. We have also 2 other smaller scene that are live broadcasting content throughout the day. So those are the All-in talk at the bottom, middle bottom, and then on middle top you have the AI session. And we will have also other zones for you to discover. Yeah, this slide is important. It's the Swap Card app. It's the All-in app that we are using. So one of the questions earlier, if it was related to how do you get connected with the 3,000 other participants, this app is probably the better way. For All-in, you will, each of you has access to it. Each of you has their own program. One thing that could be efficient for you to use it is that you'll get to see everyone that is there. You can book meetings, but you also have access to various workshops, various roundtables. We have political roundtable, about 13 that are being developed at the moment, but there's also business roundtable, business workshops on a wide variety of subjects that you probably also want to join. So lots of content throughout those only 2 days. So yeah, you may want to prepare where you want to go, when to maximize your presence. The next slide was also something special that we created for you guys. So we'll do guided tour. So if you want to subscribe to those guided tour, we'll guide you through some of the best of our AI Institute, but also some of our best product solutions that have been developed. So you can join them. There will be 2 every day for you to come and as a nice way of visiting the whole tour. So the meeting point is at the start there, but it will be easy for you to find out. It's our main entrance, and that's where the welcoming desk will be for you. Also, so we said that there will be several booths on site. The next slide is about the demo zone. So on site also, there will be we will be demoing various use case of AI that you will be able to play with. So how AI is used in retail more efficiently today, manufacturing. There will be also example of usage of AI in the entertainment business. So that will be an opportunity for you to meet in the demo zone those new ideas and get to play with it. There's also a variety of room for private meetings. I'll show you on the map. It's just the floor above. Really dedicated to, it's an international space dedicated to you guys, where you'll have access to multiple tables to host meetings, or in case if you do need a private meeting that can needs to be confidential, you can have access to this also. There will be a front desk there to help you with all of your requests of meetings. So that's what I meant by the floor above. So we call it the upper deck. You'll just have to take some elevators, no, escalators is the right word, to get to the above floor. And all the blue sections here will be dedicated to international delegation meetings. We've also developed a connect team concept where there will be crew on site helping people connect together, facilitate the networking in terms of pointing you to people or industry or subject that you may want to have discussions on. We'll also have a section especially into helping people get to meet and talk through various games and discussion that will be organized in our connect team and networking hub. So if you do have a hole within your 2 days and you wish to meet new people, that would be available for you. So that's about it. It was meant to be short, but to excite you about the fact that we're looking forward to have you, and any questions we'll be pleased to answer it.
Thank you so much, Isabel, for preparing and really giving already a taste of what we are about to see once we are in Montreal. I would like to remind all the participants you have received the promo code, so please make sure that you have registered and for the event. And also, I mean, through the registration, you will be able to download the app, and obviously the program is already there. So with all the information that we have shared with you as a follow-up to this webinar, we will also put the highlights in the program. What would be the best way for the delegation, for the European delegation, to have during the 2 days while we are at the event, and to make sure that you are not missing opportunities. So thank you, Isabel. Obviously, we will be working very close as it was during the past months, but the next 2 weeks would be very critical. So thank you very much for the dedication and for your hard work and having us in Montreal. And now it's time to continue further with presenting the B2Match tool. As mentioned earlier, this is the main tool that which facilitates the ECCP matchmaking events, and it's critical for organizing your meetings with the Canadian clusters on the 10th of September. So I'm giving the floor to Daniel, my colleague. Daniel, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Yes, so I will put in the chat so that maybe you can play with me. I will put in the chat the link. Yeah, but I will show you a little bit how this works. So first of all, you have to register on the website, which is presented for you, and then when you start to register, you will see here that you can make a choice. Either you are a Canadian participant or you are a European participant. I have played myself, and I have selected being a European participant. Next. Okay, there will be several questions asking you about your name and your shoe size and all kind of this information. But what it is important in this section is that you have to click on the sessions you wish to participate. Actually, all of them are kind of mandatory, so you should click them all. Next slide, please. But it is important because you see there also the agenda. So when you click on them, you also see the agenda. After you have registered, you will be activated. You see here your profile is waiting to be activated, but after you are being activated, you will be able to play and to fill in with all kind of information, and then in the platform. And let's take now the menu which you see above, and the first thing is the marketplace, and you see here it's an add-on opportunity. If you participate to a matchmaking event, you want to make partners, yes, in several on several topics. So this is why you have to present, or you should present your cooperation opportunity, being either a request or an offer. If we go to the next slide, you see in the menu, which is given to you, you can either offer a product or request a product, a service. You may want to conclude a partnership, or you have a project idea you wish to cooperate on. You want to invest or to receive investment. You need some consultancy, some know-how, some expertise, or if nothing from here, but I doubt this, suits your cooperation wishes, then you have there a request, and you can just go to the miscellaneous and you can write your cooperation wish. Then in the marketplace, if you click on the marketplace there, now it is empty because it has not been filled. So I'm showing you, so from another event, you can see, you see here, what others in the marketplace, what others have put there, and you can filter by, here, for example, in this event, we have had 1 product, 6 services, and 9 in expertise. So you can either scroll through the demands and offers that others have made, or you can already pre-select, and then you filter according to your request or offer. If we go to the next slide, this was the marketplace. In the marketplace, so you place your offers and demands on different types: product, service, expertise, investment, project, cooperation, whatever. Then you can scroll, you will see the marketplace, you can scroll and see what others have offered or demanded. Then if you go to participants, now it is empty, but it will look like this when it is filled with your profiles. And here in the participants, you can see you can already request meetings. So either you go by the marketplace, you can may come back a little bit back. Yes. So either when you in order to book meetings, you go either by the marketplace, and then you select the opportunities or the offers, the requests that others have made, and then you go to the respective participants and request meetings, or you scroll by participant. And by participant, you also you'll see the AI tool, which is incorporated, already recommends for you some participants which by the artificial intelligence should meet your profile. You can rely on this or not, or you can scroll down the participants, or you can also, here you have on the left, you have a filter on participant type, the type of organization, cluster, SME, research development, innovation organization. And then here you see request meeting. This is gray here because it's a screenshot from this cannot be done anymore because the event has passed. As soon as the participants are validated, this will be blue. So then you can click on a request meeting when you have decided yourself upon a participant you wish to meet. Next, then we can go next. The meetings, you have it there in the menu, and when you go to meetings, here is blank, nobody, because nobody is in. You have all the meetings, the accepted ones, the pending ones, and the canceled ones. What does it mean, the pending ones? When you request a meeting, as I have shown you before, by participant or by marketplace, yes, this is only the first step. The meeting, in order for the meeting to take place, this has to be accepted by your counterpart. As soon as the meeting has been accepted, it will show here as accepted, and there will be here a list, and you will have the time slot for this meeting. And also from the meetings, you can go and request meetings, because if you click here on request meetings, you will get again the list of all participants, and you can select with whom you wish to meet. Next. So when you click there, This is from another event. It will look like this. There will be a list with the participant, and you can click on this blue request meeting field. Next, the agenda. You have up in the menu, you have the agenda. Remember that I told you you kind of have to click on all the items of the agenda, and then it will show to you like this. Yes, it will show. You will have your personal agenda. You can go anytime to look for at what time you are and what comes next and so on. Yeah, you have also here the opportunity to remove from the project. Please do not. From the program, from your agenda, please do not. Okay, next, also in the menu up, you see conversations. So all starting now, when you start to make your profile there to register and to put your offers and demands and start to book meetings, you can have conversations with all the other people populating the B2 Match, so participating to this event. These conversations are strongly, strictly, very confidential. Nobody can see them except from you and your counterpart. And it is advisable when you ask somebody for a meeting, maybe to drop also a line, and to explain to him why you wish to meet that person. Next. This is what I have already told you. Next. There will be a debriefing survey after this event takes place, and please share with us your thoughts, your results. For the European, the ones who have experience, they know this is kind of mandatory. For the new ones, yes, we need your feedback. And of course, because the European Cluster Collaboration Platform wants to improve its services towards the European clusters and international cluster community, and this debriefing survey, this helps us improve our services. Next. Nota bene, I've written next. Yes. So when you talk to we don't have to teach you, but of course, when you in the conversations you have when booking the meetings or on the tables there on the you should be attentive to disclosing sensitive information about your product, about your marketing strategies, and so on. So we only advise you to have some caution on this. Next steps, the bookings are open, so the platform is working. If you see, I put it in the chat. If you click on, then you can start to register. Please start and please fill in the marketplace, what I have shown in the beginning, the opportunities, the offers and demands, because this is how the other partners will know if you are relevant for them or not. And start booking meetings. And on the day of the event, please check your meetings agenda and download it. There will be 20-minute slots for the meetings, but in order to avoid a logistic breakdown there and chaos, everybody should know from when this starts, from the first 20-minute slot, I have a meeting at table 1 with this particular partner. Then I'm going to table 3, then to table 5. Of course, we will be there to support you, but having the overall picture. But please, please be prepared. Please, have your meetings agenda, download it, or at hand. Yes, thank you very much. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I'll repeat once again what you have mentioned. The link to the B2 Match platform event has been shared, but also We will follow up with the email, and our request is please don't delay. This is also will be shared with, that is the same request will be shared to the Canadian participants. Our Canadian partners will monitor the progress of registrations from Canada. We will make sure that all European participants are also registered. Let's aim having your profile offers and demands by the end of this week already on the platform. So with that, you will have time to study the offers and demands from the other participants. You have asked a couple of times whether you will be able to see the rest of the participants, and B2Match is the place where you will have an overview from all participants, from the Europeans as well as the Canadians. You know that this event is set to have during the matchmaking day. You are booking meetings on the 10th of September. You are booking meetings with Canadian Europeans are booking meetings with Canadian participants. All networking sessions are designed for you to have a chance. The networking sessions plus the LinkedIn group, as we said, are designed for you to have an opportunity also to speak Europeans with other European organizations, because we know that on many occasions you have been requesting to have other opportunities and meet with your colleagues from Europe as well, and search for potential joint initiatives and projects. So please, by the end of this week, create your profiles. Make sure that you have spent enough time to describe the opportunities and the demands, what you offer and what you are demanding. Also, we will follow up with all the information which is related to today's webinar. Materials will be uploaded on the European Cluster Collaboration platform on the event page. Within the participants booklet, we will make sure that you have all practical information relating to meeting points, time, so you to have clear picture and when and at what time you need to be. The 10th of September will be a very busy day, obviously having the site visits in the morning, as well as the conference part, let's put it like this, and the matchmaking part in the afternoon, and the networking dinner in the evening. Also, it is important that we will guide you with some notes about your participation at all in event, but it's important to also register, download the app, because this will make sure that the participation at all in will fully maximize your overall participation in the mission. If you have some questions, please feel free to address them at the EU Matchmaking mailbox. Our team that is working for this event, as well as those that are in the back office of the event, will try to help with contacts, with information which is available. So please feel free to share with us if you have some questions or doubts. As Daniel presented, the agenda that you will see in B2Match, obviously the European clusters are very well aware of the terms and conditions for their participation in the call. So you are familiar, you need to be at the site visits, also to complete the minimum number of meetings that is requested. It's 4 meetings through the B2Match. The briefing survey, you know, for those that have been part in other missions, you know that we really insist on having your qualitative feedback. In the participants booklet, we provide you with examples of quality answers. We are not looking for sensitive information, but it is really important for the European Cluster Collaboration Platform and European executing the contract for the European Commission to have a real picture on the success and how the event was at what stage the event is successful for you. So please make sure that you are providing your feedback, the quality feedback, once we send the link to the survey. Details will be provided to you. Make sure that you are checking your mailboxes, because we are trying to summarize information, not to sending you every day an emails, but obviously with getting closer to the event, we want to make sure that all aspects are checked. So you have your meetings, you have register, you're aware of the meeting points, you have the materials. Again, I will highlight what Daniel said, that please make sure that you have your agenda for the meetings. The team that we will be in Canada will be helping throughout the whole day. We will make sure that you are, we will be guiding you at which table, which meeting is taking place. But in order to make the most out of the time that we have, please make sure that you're also aware. This is the summary that I can provide here. Please feel free, we have a few more minutes till the end of the webinar. If you don't have questions right now, after we follow up by tomorrow latest with all links and information, please come back to us. If you have questions, you will be able to see the recording, as well as the PowerPoint presentation which Daniel presented, as well as all other presentations. But for the setup of for the B2 Match, you can the presentation will guide you, as well as the recording. But of course, we will be also happy to help you if you have further questions on how to create your meetings. We'll wait just, I mean, we have like 2 minutes. We'll wait to see if there are some questions coming. Once again, I would like to thank all the participants that attended today. Also to all our Canadian partners and colleagues that presented, thank you for spending the time preparing. And thank you very much for the great collaboration so far. We are really very much positive that we are having one very successful event in front of us. So with that, we can close the webinar. Thank you, and see you all soon. Thank you very much.